Hey everyone, welcome back to Part of the Solution podcast. Before we dive in, I just want to share a quick moment of gratitude because I think that is really important. And I don't know about you, but I've been getting caught up in all of the to-do lists, all the things I have to do. And sometimes I just need to slow down and take a moment to be grateful. So before we dive in, this morning I took my dog for a walk along this little cute countryside area where we live. And I got to watch the sunrise and I got to just be alone in nature with my dog walking around. And it just reminded me of how grateful I am to live in a place where I can start my day like that and I can just get a little bit grounded and connected. And I just wanted to share that and think about one thing you're grateful for. So now today's episode is a little bit different. Instead of me interviewing a guest, I'm actually sharing a conversation where I was the guest. So I joined on the Modern Wellness podcast with my girl, Kat, and we just had such a powerful conversation that I wanted to bring it here for you too. We talked about all the things. We talked about regulating your nervous system, how I integrated real life tools like breath work into my life, my journey with sobriety, and how trauma has shaped the work that I do today. It's honest, it's real, and I think a lot of you will connect with it. So, with that, let's dive into the episode. Welcome to Part of the Solution, because what the world really needed was another podcast, except for this one actually cuts through the noise. Hi, I'm Natalie, your coach, speaker, truth teller, and your favorite no BS friend. Around here, we're talking health, healing, habits, hormones, and how to finally grow a mindset that gets out of your own way. There's no filters, just real conversations that might actually change your life.
Okay, what's up, Dr. Nat? I'm so excited for you to be here. You're one of literally the realest women I know. And the way that you have rebuilt your life, the way that you are building your life, from addiction to alignment, it's truly powerful and inspiring. And I'm so honored to be able to call you a friend of mine.
Thank you. I know it's been such a fun journey getting to know you over these past couple of years. And I'm so glad that we were bunked up in the same room together.
I know. When we very first met, we were roommates. We were sharing a bunk bed together, and that's how we became friends.
Yes, exactly. It's such an easy friendship with you. There's no strings attached, zero expectations. We just know that we're going to show up for each other however we need it in whatever capacity. And there's fucking zero pressure, which I just so appreciate. And I love the yin and the yang. We are very much the same, but we are very different as well. And that's what I'm drawn to about you, is that you are soft and kind and gentle and so sweet and calm. I am some of those things, but more elevated and, loud and kind of brash. And that I have an opinion. And so I think that's why it works, is because the friendship kind of complements itself. At least that's how I feel.
Aw, thanks, girl. Yeah, I feel that, but I feel like it was always meant to be. It's funny that we were put in each other's lives so totally unexpectedly. I know that when we first met, it was at this retreat, and I didn't even want to go. I was so closed off, and I didn't know how much I needed it. But honestly, it reminded me how, well, it was a little wake up call, because I was truly disconnected from myself, and it brought me back to how important sisterhood, women's friendships even really are. And so I'm truly grateful for that experience, because it brought me to you, but then also, was a wake up call.
Yeah. And I saw that happen just within those few days. Just from that first morning we met and you were on your computer and very work focused and just talking about the competition you had just did and prepping for another one. And then even just that first day with the breath work and all of that, it just fucking cracked you open. And I was so happy to witness it and be there. And it was so beautiful. And then this, like I said, this friendship formed of we're totally different, but totally the same in so many ways. And it was so fun. And I'm so glad that I got to sleep in that top bunk.
I know. I feel like that also, like going back to the breath work, was such a new experience to me. And I was always kind of, I think, fighting it because I thought it was too soft, a little too woo woo for me. I didn't really, maybe I didn't want to go there. But I know that that has been a huge part of your journey. Breath work, all of that has been part of your healing. Can you talk a little bit about like when that moment was for you that you realized you needed more of it in your life?
Yeah. So, for your listeners that don't know, I have 15 years of sobriety. And in the beginning of that, I really learned the importance of surrender and meditation and quiet time, and to truly kind of like quiet the mind, because there's so much chatter going on and there's so much insecurity and you're scared all the time and there's so much change neurologically, physically, mentally, geographically even. And so I knew that when I came to like a place of meditation and quiet and like this practice, I knew that I was going to feel better afterwards. It was that first thing that I kind of trusted. And so learning to meditate and actually quietly meditate. I remember when I was in treatment, they would do acupuncture, and they would put 5 needles in your ear, and you would lay down and you would have quiet time. And I was like all about that. I was like, I am so ready to shut the fuck up. And so that was always part of the practice. And it stayed with me for a long time. I still meditate every morning. It was just like a non negotiable for me. And then I did a few breathwork sessions, but when I did that one in Arizona as well, with that kind of 3-part deeper breath that like flushes so much oxygen into your system, into your blood, that you physically feel different, that's when I was like, oh, this is like the next level of breath work. And I just really enjoyed it. In fact, tonight I am going into San Francisco with a friend of mine, and we are doing this giant breath work and sound bowl healing, and it's going to be transformative. Unplug, really just let everything in and just breathe in this next chapter of like breath and serenity and health and just being comfortable in who we are. So even when I'm stressed out in the moment with my kids, I'm irritated by, whatever they're doing. My daughter blew up like 900 balloons yesterday for no reason in the house. Like anytime I need to check out, I just know my central nervous system is like, just take a breath or two. Literally just breathing in oxygen through the nose and out through the mouth sends messengers into the brain of like, I'm going to be okay. You're going to be fine. I think everybody should really just learn about it and just try it. And it doesn't have to be your forever and your non negotiable, but it's definitely one for me.
Hmm. Just talking about it, I'm sitting here going, like trying to breathe a little bit deeper.
Yeah. And it just like I know you exercise so much, and like breath while you're exercising and while you're strength training and really breathing in from like your diaphragm and that type of work. The ripple effect of that breath is huge. So it's not like everybody's on a lily pad in a Zen state with this perfect aesthetically pleasing background. You could literally be doing it in between reps or in the bathroom, so it's just became such a great tool for me.
That is so powerful. I feel you talk about when you first started it, you had almost this inner knowing that, ooh, this feels good. Like I need this.
Yes. The noise in your head, the work noise, the shoulds, what you should be doing, like we kind of let our mind talk shit to us. And this is a way that I have found to like quiet that noise, to just let it be and just calm and kind of stay in the moment. It's so easy for us to like future trip and get, caught up in this and that, or what I should do, or what I should post on social media, or what I should talk about, or how I want to be as a mom, as a wife, as a, whatever. And so breath it just brings me back in. I highly recommend it. Highly recommend it.
Yes, I think I need to practice it. I think everybody needs to practice it more and more.
Well, and I think just talking about it, you will, just having that reminder, maybe tonight or tomorrow morning, it'll happen. And then I would just gauge how you feel. Like I would encourage anybody to try it for a week, try it for a day. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. It can be just 1 minute, 5 minutes, 7 minutes, whatever, and just see how you feel afterwards and focus on your breath. So it's a big tool for everybody. And we do it already and it's free. Hello.
I know you have so many tools like in your toolbox. What has helped you with healing, yourself through your sobriety, how transformative they were for you? Are all of these things kind of been the influence for you to transform other women as well to help them heal?
Absolutely. I think that I was meant to be a teacher. I was meant to help heal. I was meant to help guide. I'm a generator. It's in my human design. And I think all of my life experiences has brought me to this place. And it's time to now give away what I have. I truly, and I don't mean that to sound like cheesy or cliche or anything, but there's just this inner knowing that it's like, all right, you've healed through these things, you've been through these traumas. My life is pretty great almost every day. So at night, my daughter and I, we lay down in bed and we do what's your rose, your thorn, and now she just added what's your bunt. Your bunt is what are you excited about? What do you hope happens in the future? And 9 times out of 10, I don't have a thorn. And at first I started saying like, "Oh, I'm sorry I don't have one." And then I was like, "No, I just don't." Like days are pretty damn good. And even when things are hard, I am optimistic and I try to look for the good. And don't get me wrong, people piss me off. It's not like things don't irritate me or I don't get annoyed by my husband's breathing sometimes, but I think it's just radical like self acceptance and you just look at yourself and like, what is my part or what can I get from this?
Mhm. I think that both of us have really, been through it, lots of life, lots of healings. I love the sisterhood that it comes when people can own what they've been through and then actually, share that process because it's not a pretty one. And a lot of people are so shamed of sharing. They're so shamed to ask for help, to even start that process. And going through all those things only makes us better, but some people don't feel like they're allowed to even heal themselves. And I think that us sharing that process or even the transformation, I think it's a daily practice of like still working through and like you're always like peeling the layer of the onion. And so I think that just sharing and being open about what's working, what's not working, how it's helped, it's like serving. That's the most rewarding thing. If I just can reach or touch one person, even if it's like a friend that reaches out, just the smallest things, you never know how you could be helping people.
Well, yeah, and you wouldn't think that just a small act of friendship or a word like that, you have been that for me. There have been times where I know that I've reached out to you or you've said things. It kind of just gives me the chills thinking about it, where you just say one little thing and I'm like, she gets me. I'm seen, I'm heard. Like these feelings that I have are valid or it's okay. And I'm not in this alone because you and I are both in this kind of online salesy place. We're trying to like build a business online somewhat and being vulnerable and putting ourselves out there. And I don't have a lot of friends that are entrepreneurs, so it's nice to have that community of women online that are in that mindset because you guys get it and we get it. So I know that I could say to you, this was a shit day and I hate my voice. And I said, 17 times and I feel ugly. And you would be like, oh my God, stop. And you would just get it. I wouldn't have to explain it and like water it down for you. You would just understand it.
Uh, yes, so true. Same for you too. And I think that we need more of that. We're in this phase, I feel like, where people are starting to realize one, you can accept healing and not feel guilty about it. Care for yourself. Taking care of yourself is like taking care of other people. If you pour into yourself, right, then you'll be a better person, you'll be in a better mood, be a better everything. And I love that that's like a trend coming around again. Like it's just beautiful to see people really start to heal. And honestly, even for me, it's like kind of humbling myself because I was the person I had like, this like soft girl era and like feminine and all this stuff. I was so anti it because I thought originally that wasn't strong, that wasn't sexy. It was like just hustle mode all the time. And then I realized you can still be a doer, but you just have to come back to yourself at the end of the day. And I'm just so happy to see that the pendulum's kind of swinging back to that.
It definitely is. And I think the older we get, the more we want to be a badass and be our boss and make great money. But we also want to have that softer edge. We want to be able to do small things that really matter. We want to make people feel better and we want to feel good by doing it. I very much know that like you are all about that hustle culture and that you're shifting out of that because I think it serves a purpose for a long time. There was a long time where I loved what I did before I pivoted into my other career, and I felt needed and wanted, and I was helpful, and people relied on me, and I showed up every time and executed it perfectly, and I felt my self worth through that pride of like I'm good at my job. I'm really good at my job, and I think that's normal. I bet you that's a statistically like a thing we're all in our 20s. 100%, like, and then maybe into our 30s. And then I think biologically we just start shifting. And so the mindset starts to shift. That's where we're at. And it's not balanced because fuck that word. It is just trying to find that medium where you can be two different things can be the truth at the same time. Like we can be two different people and they could be vastly different because I am way different than I show up online or at the studio than I am with my kids or this or that. So, and I think that that's okay to be that way, and it's just softening over time. And my favorite slogan is fuck it. And you just give a fuck less the older you get. And it's so beautiful. And I don't mean like you stop showering and you grow out your armpit hair. And I mean, you do you, but like, I don't mean you let all these things go, but ethically, morally, you're just, like sometimes the dishes don't get done. Sometimes the pillows aren't fluffed perfectly. And before I would have, when my life was out of control, controlled those things 100%. And now they're not always fluffed. It's not always perfect. And I'm fine with it. I feel fine about it.
I agree 100%. Yeah, you like want to slow down a little bit, like you experience maybe. You're like, okay, it's time for a change.
Yeah, I was telling my husband that the older I get, the more I have this desire to be present for my kids more. And that may sound wrong, but when I was pregnant, I never connected with my baby. I didn't like being pregnant. My body was changing and that was weird. And then I was sick a lot. And then I had her and it was like everything shifted. And now as they're getting older and I feel like I'm stepping into this mentor position at my work. And now for them, I'm like, oh my God, I have so much. Like they're at school, they're learning to spell and to read and to write and proper grammar or language. But I've got to teach them like how to be a good person, And so the desire to teach and be there more for them is getting stronger and stronger the older I get. I really wanted to say that, like, as a mom, like, I want to be a mom and a really good one more than ever now.
I love that. You are a good mom. Going back to we were talking about like the hustle in our 20s, our 30s. You're mentoring a lot of women now, teaching them there are other ways to live and to heal and to feel good. Do you feel like there's a common block that you see?
Yes, and it is pain. Nobody wants to feel uncomfortable. Nobody wants to self reflect. Nobody wants to deal with the stuff. It's hard to really look at the root cause of what's holding you back or this way you feel about yourself or maybe the way you look to the way that others think about you. And I think a lot of it is pain. It's probably something childhood issues, childhood pain, something you saw continuously as a child of how things were done, or this is just the way it is, or we don't have any money, or, whatever story we're clinging on to. And to process that is really hard. And to process those emotional traumas, those things we go through is really hard. And I think, regardless if you grew up in a normal home with two parents and everything was pretty great, or you grew up in my household where it was different every day, I think the desire to be better is the same. So the process is the same. You got to find the root cause of your stuff. it sounds good and it looks cute in the beginning, and then you dig around a little bit and it gets hard. And that's when people want to bail out because it's uncomfortable. And who wants to feel uncomfortable? I don't. But I also know that on that will be this like gorgeous, amazing outcome. And so being through that and just going in and doing that, I know the end result. So I'm more willing to do it. And so I would say that's the biggest issue when working with somebody is really having them be vulnerable and almost like surrender to the process. Like, you're the expert, you tell me what to do, and I'm just going to shut up and do it. Our egos don't want us to do that. We want to do like the path of least resistance. It's like wired in the brain.
Absolutely. The brain likes comfort.
It's cozy. I get it. It's like a warm, cozy blanket.
So what are some things that you do to help them get out of that?
I talk a lot about with these women, like how they want to be perceived. One of my favorite questions is, what would somebody say about you at your funeral? Or how would you like to be introduced into a room full of people who didn't know you? So I feel like that sets them up for this North Star, this like, my name is Natalie, and this is what I want to do. And then by giving you that visual and that goal, then we can work through this stuff. And I keep reminding them of that. And I also remind them of their power. But I do love to learn like their human design a little bit so I can kind of figure out how to talk to them. Obviously, if they're a generator like me, I'm like tactical Navy SEAL type steps, and then other people, you just have to learn how to speak with them. And I think it's always about learning people's energy and learning when to push and when not to push. And reminding them of like who the fuck they are and why are you here. So I think the women who come to me for help have already kind of hit a rock bottom. They've already tried some stuff and it just really didn't work out. And now they're to a point where they're uncomfortable and they're going to shut up and kind of do what they're told and really just trust that it's going to work out.
That's the hardest part. Yeah, like you said before, is really trusting the process and be willing to go there.
Yeah, and it's so beautiful, girl. Like I wouldn't change one thing. Like there isn't one thing in my healing journey or my story. I wouldn't change anything. I'm proud and happy of everything. And it wasn't always nice or pretty and I was mean and guarded and all of the things, but it was just how I had to be. Like I think when you are in pain, your walls go up and you're really guarded. And people who are like, I'm never getting a relationship again, or I don't want to date because of this or that. And I've had shitty relationships. I've had my heart broken, cried, like can't get out of bed type of crying, and that I can't live without you. But I knew at the end of the day, I was meant to be with somebody great, and that I was meant to collaboratively be in it. So I always knew, like trusting your gut, trusting that knowingness. And I didn't know that until human design. So it takes what it takes for people to get there. But yeah, surrender, pain, that's the hard stuff. And that's like what I specialize in.
I mean, you are so good at like relating to people at the level that they're at, meeting them at where they're at. And it's such a gift. And for everybody that is listening, anytime I mention human design, you could thank Natalie because she's the one that really opened my eyes to it. And now I am obsessed with it.
It's pretty great.
There's a theme with this where becoming not only aware of your rock bottom, but also giving in to your desire to want more out of life. So whenever we hit rock bottom, the ones that make it are the ones that actually take action and do something about it. They reach out to that mentor they saw online, or no matter what anybody is going to think about them, because a lot of times it can be such an isolating journey to go on that, go through that healing process, because not everybody understands the layers and how long it takes. I mean, it never ends, but we have to either take ourselves out of certain situations, environments, drop friends, change friend groups, move even to find yourself. I know that when I moved to Atlanta, that was such a big turning point for me because it was really like just me. And I I really did find myself again and came back to self because I didn't know the environment that I was in. Just going back to the journey just back to self of like being aware and taking that first step towards taking care of yourself.
Yeah, it can be a very vulnerable place to be. But change is so necessary. I am such a fan of a rock bottom. I'm such a fan of starting over. I just think it's a whole new, it's, you can just rewrite this story. I have a friend's daughter. She's leaving to go to college. She's graduating high school. And I think she's really struggled in a high school experience. And I'm like, girl, just wait. You can go and like be anybody you want to be. Like you could be this completely different person. And I'm so excited for her. And again, I know it's going to be hard and there's going to be challenges, but like, oh, like I said in the beginning, like it's just going to be gorgeous at the end. Like it is so worth all of the like messy action it takes to get there. And I think like how you were saying, you put yourself out there and moved, and then you just moved again. Right. So it's, you're going to have to like start all over again. And, you know, but I bet you this time around, this cat is much different and she's much more grounded and much more stable with more abundance, not only like financially abundant, but like emotionally, spiritually, all of that. Just, and even in your relationship and your marriage.
Oh yeah, 100%, 180 different person than I was after the first move. Yeah. You just have to go for it sometimes. You have to fuck it and just go for it.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yeah. See, and I have never moved. I still live in the same town I grew up in. And I think for many, many years, I wanted to leave and go somewhere else. And I think now, even if my husband was like, we're moving to Portugal and I'm going to run the business there, I'd be like, let's do this. It's like rebranding the website. You know, it's like a fresh start. And I think people need that. And I think it's okay. I think we'll all get stagnant doing the same thing over and over again. I think it's good to shake things up. It infuses more energy into your daily life. And I think we all need that because it'll just rejuvenate you. It's like a form of self-care, you know? It's not always like growth. Or happiness. It's like growth and like change and getting better.
Mm-hmm. Giving yourself permission to change too and evolve.
Yeah, that's a hard one. That is a hard one. And like, who are you going to let go of and who are you going to be to get to where you want to be? And, you know, what friendship are you going to have to cut off or what wall are you going to have to put up in order to get to where you want? And I think that makes a lot of non entrepreneurial people very uncomfortable. Entrepreneurs were like, yes, put up that boundary, get rid of that person, you know, like do what you got to do. But again, it's hard in living in the town that you grew up in. And not that I think many people are judging me. Maybe they are. I don't really give a shit. But it's just a different conversation. You know, like this conversation is going to be different with you than it's going to be with my best friend. I think just to circle back, like we need community, we need women, we need more people like us more than ever now.
I 100% agree. And I think it's becoming, everybody wants community. I think even more so as women, though. Like I said before, like that shift, I feel it's already happening. Bigger communities, more women, more business women, more entrepreneur women, really supporting each other and not being so competitive. That's the tough one.
Yeah. I mean, for me and my job, I feel online competitiveness or I'm competing with other people just for that like no like factor online. But I was just speaking to a friend earlier this week. She's a real estate agent. And in my world, like there was a girl next door talking about she's a hairstylist and how competitive it is with that and then real estate. And she was kind of like, there's enough to go around. Like, I'm not in competition with anybody. Like, the right people are going to come to me. And I feel the same way. Like, we're energy. I'm only going to attract that same type of energy. And if it's not, I feel it right away. And I'm very much at the point in my life where I will say, like, we're not a good fit.
Exactly. You have to listen to the energy if it feels good, if that person feels good, to be around.
Yeah. And that's why when I flipped on the light switch 14 times in the kitchen and I woke you up, I was like, that's my friend. We're going to be friends. Because she wasn't like, what are you doing right now?
Oh my gosh, I don't even know if I slept that night, but that's fine.
You got in very, very late. But that retreat was so great to kind of go back to that. That was like my first glimpse into like, oh shit, this is entrepreneurship. This is what, because I think a lot of you women already knew each other based off like another program you were in. And I didn't think I realized that. And so part of me was kind of like, oh, like as that day went on, I was like, wait, everybody already knows each other for the most part. And it was not that like Mean Girls Club. It was like the more the merrier. Like everybody was there for the same thing and cracking us open with that like vulnerability breath work and like human design in the beginning was so crucial. It was such a great way to do it because it was like everybody's ego just deflated and it wasn't there anymore. And I think more people should approach business like that. I hope that it's trending that way. I'm a part of another company, an affiliate for another company that does like community building, nutrition coaching, strength. And we are chit chatting about doing a in-person retreat together. And there's just it's all about like collectively helping each other.
I love that.
Yeah, you should fly out.
I know.
Yes. But no, I think for you and I, that is our friendship, and that's okay. And that's what I meant earlier, like by it's easy. And I love, love having that because we're all so busy and there's so many important things happening in life. Like, I don't have the bandwidth to take on like another intense relationship if I'm not getting paid for it. It is so nice, so easy with you. And now we're both like playing around in the podcast space. It's so much fun. And you are so great at these solo episodes. Like the way you were just soft spoken and your voice is like relaxing and easygoing. And it's like, that hand on your back that's just kind of like, you're good. You're doing fine. This is good. This feels great. I love you. Like that, to me, that's when I hear you talk. That's how I feel. I'm like, oh, she genuinely cares. And she's just so sweet.
Well, that's just the best compliment ever. Thank you so much. I could literally talk to you forever. Actually, I think we need to schedule a second one already.
Yes, we will be doing that. So don't worry. There will be a part two, people.
Chats with Nat and Kat. I think that's something we could slide in there maybe. But tell the listeners where they can find you.
So I'm on Instagram for the most part, nataliedamiano.co. I would say that's probably the best place. I also have a podcast called Part of the Solution, and it's on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. Please go on, please listen to it. There's some really great information out there. These are all topics that I'm interested in. So my podcast is definitely geared towards like health, wellness, personal development, and all of that. And it's like free continuing education. So why wouldn't you?
You have an amazing podcast. I love the topics. Your guests are fire, all things wellness, all things healing, and just amazingness to come. I know that you have such a bright future. You're such a natural with this. So everybody go give her some love. But before you leave, Nat, I always like to leave the listeners with a main character move. So you have a main character move that you'd like to offer the women listening who knows she's been surviving or just is ready to like feel again.
Main character move, girl. Well, my signature slogan is fuck it. So I would encourage women to really look into what are they waiting for? What's going to happen if they don't do it? Would they regret it? Back to that other question too, like, how would you want people to introduce you into a room full of people who didn't know you? What would you want to be known for? What would you want to be the expert in? That's like your North Star, like figure out what the end goal is and then just take little daily habits and get your ass there. Nothing changes if nothing changes. When you're ready to make the choice, whether it's sobriety or starting a business or a weight loss journey, when you're ready, you will do it. And tomorrow's never promised. So get your ass up.
Alrighty, guys, you heard it from Miss Natalie. Thank you so much again for being here. I appreciate it. And everybody, let's get it.